Yeah, so
nothing.
who in here can prove the Catholic claims?
Okay, man, can you leave? No one likes you.
Wait, is that what the Pope told you to tell people that come to you and ask questions about Catholicism to leave?
So what's your question?
The fat Buddhist guy? Yeah, I think that's what the Pope told me.
Wait, so
So-
your Pope told you to insult people online? That's funny.
Yeah, the fat Buddhist loser.
Yeah, the Pope
freak.
actually spoke about people like you, by the way, like 5 years ago. He called you guys keyboard warriors that should
Yeah,
actually
well, I
go
mean, the
outside
Pope
and
is a
spread the faith
formal
if you cared so
heretic.
much.
The Pope himself is a formal
Excuse me?
heretic. So as far as
This guy's a
everything
Catholic
that,
mod and
but
he just
every
called the Pope a formal heretic.
yeah, he's a formal
How are
heretic.
you mod?
Prove me
The
wrong.
guy's wrong.
Is this
Pope
the
Francis is a
Sedevacantist room?
formal heretic. Prove me wrong.
No,
Is this
there's
the
no formal
Sedevecantism
heresy
room?
that
I
he's
didn't know that.
accused of, so that doesn't make any
Abismo,
sense.
Abismo, are you a sedevacantist?
No,
Yes.
I'm not a
I don't think you
sedevacantist.
can call yourself a
But
Catholic
the thing
anymore.
is,
What are you,
I'm
an
the
sorry.
old
thing is,
Catholic
I
or-
don't even think you guys understand what a
What are you?
sedevacantist is.
No,
I don't think
do.
I don't think you
Peter
can
is
call
empty.
yourself a Catholic.
Abismo, are you a sedeprivationist?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you maintain
what are you?
Francis is.
So,
Well,
I mean,
Catholic.
do you believe that it is impossible for the Pope, for a valid sitting Pope, to also be a formal heretic?
Yeah, but
It's
you're
not
not the one
it's
who
not
can
my-
give that authority.
If you
Well,
take the
technically that is
affirmative, if
impossible.
you take the affirmative position on this, you are no longer intellectually
Abismo,
honest about history.
go to Canon Law 1404 right now.
The canon
first
law is
key-
not infallible, Princess.
the first-
Canon law,
okay,
canon law is
look.
not infallible.
You
have to
need to
follow
stop
this
with. You need to
hostility.
stop. You actually need to stop. You need to stop
Canon
thinking.
law, canon
You need
law
to stop thinking that
You have
your
to follow
not-
the canon
it's
law
highly
with
holy than the
hostility,
church.
buddy. What are you
infallible.
talking about? You have to follow
You need
with
to-
hostility, though.
Why
So
would I
here's
need
the
to
thing.
follow something that's not infallible?
Here's the thing: is the question on the table right now is it possible for a valid sitting Pope to be a manifest heretic?
It's not a
formal
question.
heretic?
It is possible.
It is a question.
But it's
It
not
is.
on
There you
you
go.
to
Okay,
Not,
claim that.
it has
Done.
literally nothing to do with
Done.
formal heresy
It's done.
because there's no
Dude,
ecumenical
It's done.
council.
We all
to
know
help
the
him.
answer to this.
Hold on.
Okay,
There's no
the
ecumenical council that found him to be a formal heretic.
There's no,
Yeah.
there's no,
Yeah.
no. So an ecumenical council does not need to establish whether or not a pope is a formal heretic.
Yes, it does.
An ecumenical
Yes, it does.
council, no. An ecumenical council, right, only has not yet declared what happens in the case. There's no normative protocol established in the history of the church
And what is
for
your
what
authority
happens
exactly?
when
What is your
a
authority
pope is a
exactly?
formal heretic.
Who is your authority to claim that? Yourself? I'm sorry,
Excuse
you're
me?
not an authority.
Okay. So now we're gonna go back. We're gonna go to the third council of Constantinople.
Go
So,
ahead.
Princess, at the Third Council of Constantinople, which pope in the
ecumenical
history of
council.
the church did the Third Council of Constantinople anathematize and abrogate?
Yeah, but
Which
again,
pope was this?
this is the point that I'm making. Without the council,
Hold on, stop detracting from the point,
Oh,
fight.
okay.
This is the question that's on the table right now. I'm not gonna allow people to try to shift the goalpost on this.
Okay, I'm not shifting
So
anything.
at the third princess, I'm not talking about you. I was talking about fight. Princess, at the Third Council of Constantinople, which pope was anathematized and abrogated?
I don't know his name.
It was Pope Honorius. Why
Okay,
was
he
Pope
was-
Honorius anathematized and abrogated?
He was said to hold formal heresy.
Correct. On what?
Wait, is it formal or material?
Formal.
It was material.
No, it was formal. So here's what's going on. They declared him a manifest heretic. So here's the thing. He was a monophysite. It's one thing to hold, right? And this is the distinction that canon law makes. In the internal forum, this is going to refer to private opinions, speculative theology that could be erroneous, right? But once a church cleric starts teaching these, right, even in a non-magisterial way in the external forum, it becomes manifest. And that's precisely what Pope Honorius was held accountable to. So the Third Ecumenical Council of Constantinople anathematizes and abrogates all of his actions, and then only after it was concluded did his successor ratify the council. That's the way that it worked.
Yeah. So
What?
the thing is, you have absolutely no authority to claim that the current pope is a heretic.
So one does not need the authority.
Yes, you do.
No. One does not need the
This is slander.
authority
This is pure
on
slander.
non-magisterial teachings, when the Pope or any other cleric teaches in the external forum manifest formal heresy, you do not need an authority. You do not need an authority to tell you that what is being taught is formal heresy.
Absolutely, you do, because
No, you do
because
not.
you are.
No, you do not.
Yes,
So let me ask you a separate question,
prove
Princess.
that from the
Is there anything in the church that has been de fide definitively declared by the church to be more infallible than papal infallibility? Yes or no?
No, but no.
Well, the answer is yes. The
So
Catholic Church has maintained and teaches, as binding on all the faithful, that the character of infallibility of the sensus fidelum is the highest infallibility within the church. So this is the idea that when a Christian faithful, lay or clerical, it doesn't matter, holds the true faith that this is more infallible than any
you
other
are.
form of infallibility.
This is semantics. This is
It
semantics.
is not semantics at all.
Yes, it is, because you need a count. You look. You have very limited knowledge, and you don't have the full picture of what the Pope says. So you cannot just
No,
go out
we
here.
actually do. We actually do. When the Pope, right, in a
Okay, it would be crazy
non-magisterial
cool
way,
if you
when the
could stop.
Pope in the non-magisterial way teaches in the external forum in a non-magisterial way that all paths, or excuse me, all religions are a path to God, we
That
can
is true.
examine that this particular statement
That is
is
true.
unsustainable because one, it is intellectually dishonest.
That
And
is no. It is.
it is directly contradictory to the gospel.
So
So
I
in
think you are
one sense,
absolutely
it's
wrong.
historically, intellectually dishonest because when you take a look at what we know about the history of religions and the religions that we do in fact know, most of them actually don't have anything to say about God. So just
Okay.
from a purely factual analysis, the Pope is wrong. His
Okay.
opinion is wrong. Secondly, if we were to hold his thesis to be correct, it would still be in contradiction with the gospel.
So now that I have heard you speak, I would like you to let me finish before cutting me. So I will start my argument now. So the thing is, I think that, again, because you have no authority or context to what he is speaking about, I don't think you have the authority to claim that he is a formal heretic, because what he has said to me and to literally every other Catholic is not contrary to the gospel. So, for example, I know a friend who was a Muslim, and through Islam, because he has read Islam, he has started to believe more in God, and through that he became a Catholic. So I would say that Islam and reading about God strengthened his love towards religion and towards God's nature, and led him to Catholicism. So Islam did lead him to God. And in that way, if you want to take what the Pope says in an uncharitable way, where you think he's saying that religion like Buddhism or religion like Islam are literally what is leading people to believe in the true God without converting, or without or by knowing the full truth through these religion, it's just an uncharitable way to take what the Pope has said. If you take what the Pope has said through what I said, so using Islam or Judaism to come to Catholicism, that is true. They can use religion that is not Catholicism to come to God. And you're just being like in your sedevacantist era or whatever, to try to take everything that the Pope says in a bad light, which
It is
then
not
makes
sedevecantis at all. We've already established that you could
but
have a valid pope. You could have a valid pope who is also a manifest formal heretic.
I'm no, but the
Sedevecantis,
sedevacantist aspect.
their answer to that question is no, where my answer is yes. So you couldn't call me a
But the
sedevacantist.
sedevacantist aspect of what you're doing is basically
No,
challenging the
right. But as
authority
a
of the church.
layperson, you do realize that you do not have any authority to anathematize the position of other people.
No, but that's hypocritical, because
How
what
is
is
that
your authority?
hypocritical? I'm not anathematizing Pope Francis. I'm
I'm
saying
aware,
that on
but you are.
non-magisterial teaching, Pope Francis holds manifest formal heretical positions.
But you okay.
You
You
don't
don't have.
you don't believe that this is possible?
I believe it's possible. I don't believe you have the
Okay.
authority to claim
If it's
that.
possible, if it's possible, I'm going to argue that it's pretty plausible that Pope Francis is a manifest heretic. What is so wrong with this?
Are you serious? Is Carlo Wojtyła a manifest
I've
heretic as
given
well?
you my rationale for how is this the case, right? He's empirically wrong. He's epistemically
On
wrong, first of all.
on what?
And secondly, if we
On what
were
then?
to take him in the most charitable light and assume that what
There
he's
is
saying
only
is
one God.
correct, even if we know that it's wrong and we were to assume that what he says is correct, it still contradicts the gospel.
There's
It
only
doesn't.
one
You
God.
haven't
It
even. You haven't
does.
even.
It
You haven't
does.
even.
When
The
Jesus says
idea
no
that
one else
all
comes
what
to the Father except through me, it's pretty clear as day.
What are
When
you,
Jesus
Protestant?
commissions the
okay,
12,
okay,
it's
but
pretty
What are you,
clear as
again,
day.
Protestant?
yeah, again, when we look at the fact that
When we
there's
look
only
at what?
one
Okay,
God.
this is right, but this is all post hoc rationalization that you guys are
No, it's
engaged
not.
in.
It's also in Nostra
This is
Aetate. It's
this is
also in
called
Lumen
hyperpapalism.
Gentium.
You guys are
It's also in
hyperpapalism,
Lumen.
and hyperpapalism is also another formal heresy.
Where is it a formal?
To
What council?
hold that the character of infallibility of the Pope is the highest form of infallibility, which that's what you guys are demonstrating right now.
Also,
That is a formal heresy.
a pope cannot be a
Where?
formal heretic. He can be a material heretic, by the way.
Wrong. He can be a
No.
formal heretic.
Where?
That's
he
why
cannot.
Bellarmine asked the question, because it had already happened in history before.
What
cannot.
Bellarmine
A pope
has his
cannot be a
own
formal
private
heretic. He
opinion
can only be a
on
material heretic.
how this should be handled, but the church has
What
never
ecumenical
definitively
council?
declared
Can you bring
what
up
the process
Bellarmine's?
would look like.
Can you bring up Bellarmine's?
No, why don't
commentary on
you
that?
go do your homework, princess?
No,
Yeah.
it's
I'm not
your
going to
burden of
Google it
proof.
for you.
It's your burden of proof.
It's not my burden of proof.
You
It's
brought
your
up
burden
Bellarmine.
of
You
proof.
have to bring up the verse.
No, you're shifting the burden now, princess. It's
No.
your burden of proof.
Bellarmine is not part of the ecclesiology of the Catholic Church.
No, but he brought up Bellarmine as an authority on how a pope can be a formal heretic.
I did not bring him up as an authority. I said even Bellarmine, who was an ecclesiastical authority at his
Where?
time, the reason why he's able to ask that question as not
What
just a mere
question?
hypothetical is precisely because of the historical case of Honorius.
Okay, bring up the question. I want
If
to
it
see
wasn't true that we had in the history of the church a valid pope who was also a formal heretic, he wouldn't
Impossible.
be able to ask the question in good faith.
Impossible. Impossible. The pope cannot be
It
a
was a
formal heretic.
material
Okay,
heretic. It was
That's
not
an
a
appeal
formal
to
heretic.
incredulity.
Right, it was
Appeal to
material.
incredulity. Again, you're just appealing to some radical notion that you have that it's impossible to be the case. But
It is
historically,
impossible because Jesus
you're
prayed
proven
for it.
wrong.
No, because the papacy would fall if that was true.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes,
That's
it would.
now you're a sedevacantist, princess. That's
Pardon?
a sedevacantist position.
A pope
That it is
cannot
not
be a
possible for the
formal
pope,
heretic.
for the church to have a pope who is a formal heretic, or
Okay,
else
can you define formal
that
heretic?
would mean that the gates of hell prevailed.
Which
That's the
ecumenical
sedevacantist
council?
position,
Which
princess.
ecumenical council was he?
You're a
denounced?
sedevacantist, princess.
Can you define
which
formal
one?
heresy? Can you define formal heresy and
No.
material heresy?
We're gonna go back. What is your understanding of sedevecantism? What is their position? Can you
A
define?
sedevacantist? Sedevacantists are only people who are not outside of the church because the church has
Wrong.
not.
No. What is their position?
The seat of Peter is
Stop
empty.
describing what a sede is to me, because this is only demonstrating your prejudice. What is the position of the sedevacantist?
That the seat of Peter is empty.
But why? What is their
That's
rationale
not
for
their
this?
position. No, that's not true. Sedevacantists believe that Pope Francis is the legitimate pope. They just
No,
don't.
they don't.
Yes, they
No,
do.
absolutely.
Okay,
they do not.
now, princess. At this point, like, we're just gonna leave the conversation where it's at because you clearly are talking from ignorance about the whole issue.
You think a pope can be a formal heretic? Do you know what a formal heretic is?
Of course, it's someone who teaches material heresy in the external forum.
So you believe that Pope Francis?
So according to the ecclesiology, this is what you may not be as familiar with, princess, in the ecclesiology of the church. When a lay person who is a suitable candidate for priesthood is ordained, do you believe that they ontologically change into a different type of a person?
No.
Okay, then now you're also a heresy. You're also a heretic. You're a formal heretic now.
What?
Because the church
what ontology
teaching
changes about them? What in their nature changes? They're still human.
They are no longer right. They're still a human, but now that they become a human who is a priest.
But
that's the ontological
ontology?
change. That's the whole point of ordination. When one becomes ordained as as a priest, they are no longer just a man, but they are a priest.
Ontology
but
has to do with the
what
nature of being. What
Correct.
in their being changes?
What in their nature changes is that now they have authority
That's not in
to
their nature.
that literally makes zero sense.
when Jesus gave power, like in Matthew 12, to his apostles, and he gave them power and authority over the supernatural in a way that they didn't have before, are you saying that the nature of their human nature did not change? Is that what
Yes,
you're
I am.
maintaining? Okay.
I don't think their human nature changed. I think
All I can
their
say
human
is
nature.
all I can say, Princess, is that this is not the position of the church.
But all they got
It
is
is the position
supernatural
of the
grace.
church.
No.
Supernatural
If you
grace.
look up the
Supernatural
sacrament of
grace doesn't
ordination,
change your
Princess,
being.
if you look up the sacrament of ordination, right? The human person undergoes ontological change. Their being changes from one state to another, from a
Where
state
does
of
it say
just
that?
being merely a
Okay,
man to now being a priest.
I think you're
Where
misunderstanding.
does it say that?
I think you're
You're
misunderstanding.
misunderstanding. So they receive supernatural grace, but that does not change their human nature.
So the Catholic Church teaches that ordination confers an ontological change on a priest, which
Where?
means that their essence or being changes. This
Where?
change is
that?
said to occur during the ordination ritual, which includes the ordaining bishop laying
Where
hands
does it
on
say
the head of the
this?
person. Dude, you guys can just look this up.
Okay.
But it's your burden of proof.
Hold on. If we can just look it up, then why don't you provide where the Catholic
Well,
Church
this is the
says
public
this?
teaching of the church.
Where?
Where?
Which canon of the church?
Just give us
No, he's gonna
Give
say
us-
the canon are not infallible. Don't worry about it.
the source, dude. Come on. Would you read that from CatholicismToday.com? What the hell? Come on, let's
So
go.
this is crazy. So I've been recording the conversation, Princess. So this is really astonishing. You don't understand the sedevecantis position, and you also don't believe that the church teaches
At this point,
that the
I
priest
don't
is
trust you. There are other
ontologically
people in here
different
that probably don't
from
have
every other non-ordained person, right?
I don't believe their
Right.
human
So
nature is
what you
different.
hold, right. So you accuse other people of holding positions that are sedevacantis, but it turns out that logically speaking, you hold the same position that a sedevacantis does.
Well, I believe in the chair of Peter currently. I'm not calling the Pope
I
a
have to
formal
find the
heretic.
specific.
So
I have
so
to
I
find the
look,
specific canons.
You're just
Go
projecting
ahead.
on me. Can you prove what you
Find them.
said? Like, can you prove what you said instead of
Find the
trying to
canon.
diverge?
Yeah,
Find the
I
canon.
need to go find this. The 23rd
Yeah, you made it up.
And also again, a pope cannot be a formal heretic. He can only be a material heretic. So you also need to prove the material where it says
No.
that a pope can be a formal heretic.
Stop shifting the goalpost. We're talking about priesthood.
This is
now.
not shifting. I'm asking for proof of things you've said.
Yeah, so was Pope Francis Leicized? Was Karol Wojtyła, Pope John II, was he Leicized?
You mean laicized?
Shut up.
And for me, the pope that I know was confessed to be a material heretic is Honorius. And he was condemned for wrongly speaking. And we believe that he didn't even hold to that material heresy. He just was badly speaking. That's why he was condemned. Like a pope cannot be a formal heretic because that would prove that the papacy falls.
Correct.
And the reason why I say you have sedevacantist points is not because you deny you say the Pope is a formal heretic. It's because you try to like I don't know how to say that. You try to overcome the authority of the church because the church has not yet spoke about Pope Francis being a heretic, or the church has not spoke about Lumen Gentium being like wrong. So you're like trying to make yourself better or like over the authority of the church by making these statements. This is like sedevacantist behavior. Like, oh, I am right, and the church.
Sedevecantism is not a behavior; it's an act. It's a theological position.
Which you hold to, which you say that
No, I absolutely do not, because I do believe you can have a valid pope also be a manifest heretic.
He cannot be both.
Sedevecantism does not believe this. See, right. So if we go back in the recording, Princess, you still claim that sedevacantists believe that Pope Francis is still the Pope, which is not true. The sedevacantist position, Princess, is that the popes since the closing of the council in 1962 are not valid popes. That the seat has been vacant since then. That's their belief, because since the Vatican II Council, their belief is that even the Pope himself, because he's a manifest heretic, as soon as he becomes a formal manifest heretic, he loses his office. That's the sedevacantist position. So if you're trying to post hoc rationalize that a pope can't be a formal heretic because he would lose his office, that means that you're a sedevacantist.
No, yeah, sorry, I misspoke. I thought we were talking about
I do not believe this. I believe that you can have a valid pope and also be a manifest heretic. We just do not have a normative protocol by which we can follow in the deposition of that kind of a pope.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I thought we were talking about the SSPX, but I know the sedevacantists don't believe that the.
Well, they're not. Again, sedevacantists and SSPX are not the same.
I know. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about the SSPX.
If you look at this document, I'm looking for other canons right now, but. Rather, the consecration. Hold on. Rather, the consecration which they receive inserts them into the mystery of the apostolic succession and brings about in them a change in being. The council designated this change as ontological at the precise level of the munera, the messianic works of Christ in His church.
Well, the sedevacantist
So the point that I was trying to get at, Princess, before you started questioning whether or not the priest actually undergoes an ontological change and he's a different type of being from the rest of us, my point in bringing this up is that the reason for canon law, why the internal and external forum matters so much for canon law is because once a priest undergoes this ontological change, part of their nature now is that they are no longer a representative of themselves in the external forum. They are a representative of the church. So a priest could hold heretical positions privately, but as soon as a priest manifests them in the external forum, in any form, whether he's teaching, preaching, acting, he becomes a manifest heretic and is therefore canonically liable through tribunal. That's the way canon law understands the application of de fide doctrine.
So first of all, earlier I brought up canon law, and you rejected
Are you not hearing me, Princess? I'm going to say it one more time.
No. You're going to let me finish talking.
Because of the essential ontological character of the priest, Princess, because he is no longer a representative of himself and he's a representative of the church in the external forum,
I did not hear
he is held accountable. He is held accountable by canon law through tribunal for any heretical or any manifestation of an opinion that is contrary to the visible church. It's in virtue of his ontological change and nature.
You have, first of all, you are gonna let me finish what I'm saying because I know you're gonna cut me. So this is why I say that before I even start the conversation. First of all, I still don't see any proof of what you're saying. Second of all, earlier I brought up canon law 1404, and you said to me, "This is not binding on me because this is not infallible." So either you stay consistent, and when you bring up canon law, you don't act like it's infallible. Or you take what I said and you stop judging the Pope.
Canon law is not universally infallible. Canon law is an application. Canon law is an application whose contents may include infallible de fide doctrine, but canon law is not infallible.
Okay, I know it's not infallible, but I brought you a canon law so you can stop talking about the Pope, because canon 1404 says the first see is judged by no one. Yet here you are judging the Pope out of your own authority,
right?
And
but
now
you're not understanding. You're not understanding judgment. No one is saying. Apart from the sedevacantists, and it looks like yourself, that the Pope is no longer the Pope. The Pope is still the Pope, but in non-magisterial teachings, he's a formal heretic.
Okay,
Wow.
So we
you know
should
what?
not follow the
You know
Pope.
what?
So do you believe that papal infallibility extends to non-magisterial teaching, Princess?
No.
Correct. And that means that the Pope can be wrong in regards to non-magisterial teachings.
He can be wrong, but he can't be a heretic.
So we're not. No one is judging that the Pope
You
is not
are.
the Pope. We're holding that the Pope has made a mistake in his
God.
non-magisterial teachings. He's
Where?
a manifest heretic.
Where
Okay,
though?
so the Pope, okay, you know what? If the Pope was a formal heretic, the sedevacantist position would literally make more sense than the position you're holding right now.
Well, it
Because the
seems
Pope-
like you believe that to be the case. I don't believe that the sedevacantist position really makes much sense at all.
I don't believe
because
the
it's
Pope
not
is a formal
historically
heretic.
true. The
I don't-
sedevacantist position is not historically true. We have the
Okay,
case
either-
of Honorius. Honorius
either-
Just because of
Honorius remained
come on,
pope.
man.
Honorius remained a valid pope until his death, but he was a manifest heretic long before he died.
No.
Yeah, manifest heretic is not the same thing as a formal heretic.
Yeah,
is it?
you're calling the Pope
I
a
think it's
formal
something to do
heretic.
with form
Either-
and
A
substance.
manifest
Either-
heretic is the same thing as a formal heretic. This is
No,
what
that's
you guys are just
incorrect.
playing word games at this point.
That is incorrect.
That is not
a
true.
manifest heretic is literally a formal heretic.
No.
So if the definition of a formal heretic is manifest heretic. You guys are just
Honorius
playing
was
word
a
games and
material-
equivocating at this point.
Honorius was a material
You guys are
heretic,
equivocating.
not a formal heretic.
Formal heresy is when there's an ecumenical council. So, for example, Arius was a formal heretic. So you're wrong about that.
So either the sedevacantist position is true and it's not, or you are Catholic and you accept the Pope as being not heretic. You can't be like the Pope
No,
is valid.
that's the
and he's a formal
sedevacantist
heretic.
position, princess.
You can't.
You're a
you can't say that the
sedevacantist,
Pope is
princess.
valid.
It's recorded. You're a sede.
No, she's not a sede.
You hold the sede position on the status of the Pope. You're literally judging the office, princess.
I don't believe the Pope is a. If you believe the Pope is a formal heretic, he cannot be a valid Pope. If he was a
No,
valid
that is
Pope,
not
he couldn't
true.
be a heretic.
That's the sede position, princess.
That is literally true.
No. Well, okay,
Because
now you
even
guys
when-
are sedes.
oh,
You guys are
hold on.
sedes.
When we look
Oh
at
my gosh.
Honorius, for example, right? he was
Okay,
not
dude.
from-
Okay, no, stop, fight. We've already conversed this. You guys simply are wrong on Honorius. You guys didn't even know Honorius' circumstance.
Honorius was
Do
a
we have to
material
Not
replay
even
this
true.
again?
Brought him up.
Pope
Come on.
Honorius was pope till the time he died, so he was still he was still maintained as a
He was
valid pope,
material
even though he
heretic,
was a
don't you
manifest
understand?
heretic. No, he was not a manifest heretic, or not. He was not just a material heretic. He
Yes,
was
he
a
was.
formal heretic. He was
No.
a manifest
No, he
heretic.
was not a
princess.
formal. What?
No.
Which
The
ecumenical
Third Council
council?
of Constantinople anathematizes as a manifest heretic.
No,
Yeah,
This
that's
is
a
what you don't
manifest.
understand.
Okay.
no, not
So
formal.
as the material,
Not
You
formal.
guys are just in denial. You guys are
Not
sedes.
formal.
You guys are holding the sede doctrine.
Not
Yeah.
formal.
So is there a difference between, for example, Arius and Honorius?
Non sequitur.
How's that a non sequitur?
I
Arius, who
don't
was
listen.
a
Fight.
formal heresy.
I'm not obliged to understand your position for you. It's a non sequitur. It does not logically follow to compare Honorius to Athanasius
Arius.
or Arius. Arius
How
is
does
not
it
was you're missing the rule of inference. Arius was not a pope,
Arius is a formal heretic, though.
but he's not a pope.
What does that change?
So fight is assuming that they're both material formal heretics in the same sense. But
No,
how can
Honorius-
they
what
be
I'm
in the
saying
same
is-
Honorius
sense
was a
if one
material
is a pope
heretic.
and the other is not? I'm not following.
One was a material
this is a non
heretic. The other
sequitur.
one
This
was
is-
literally
Fight. This is a non
anathematized
sequitur.
by the church.
No, you're just detracting. There's no there fight.
Dude, if you cannot claim the Pope is valid and a formal heretic, this is not a
Yes, you
position that
can.
makes
Yes, you can.
sense.
Yes, you can. It has happened in the history of the church. Bellarmine also affirms that this is the case. This can be the case.
Show me where Bellarmine says that.
No, you find it. You
No,
show
it's
me
your
where
version
Bellarmine
of
doesn't
proof.
say that.
It's your burden. You made the
It's
claim.
not my burden of proof. Your
Yes, it
burden
is.
of proof now, princess, is to try to explain to the rest of the Catholics how you are not a sedevacantist.
Because I believe in the Chair of Peter and I accept every ecumenical council. I submit to Rome. Is there anything more than I need to do?
You're maintaining, princess, that it is impossible for a valid pope to also be a manifest heretic. That's the sedevacantist doctrine.
A formal heretic.
That's still the sedevacantist doctrine, princess.
Can you show me that? Can you prove that?
I just demonstrated to you logically.
No, I don't.
No,
I don't
that's
think
not
you did.
true.
I don't think you understood what a sede was, and it turns out, right, because of your ignorance, that it turns out that you're literally demonstrating
I think
that you
the
hold the
burden's on you to clear
sedevacantist
this
position or the doctrine.
How can I be a sedevacantist?
My position, I'm going to say it again one more time, princess. My position that it is possible for a valid pope to also be a manifest heretic.
Correctly, you're repeating yourself.
How can I be a sedevacantist if I accept the current pope? I accept every ecumenical council and I submit to Rome.
Because I'm standing my ground. I will continue to stand my ground until Princess is able to clarify now how she is not a sedevacantist.
Be persuasive, man. Come on.
No, I am not a sedevacantist.
Listen, ISP, this is not a conversion session, and we're not trying to preach.
Listen,
no preaching in this room. You may not like it. You may find that it's cold and cynical. You may find that it's cold and cynical, but debate is a zero-sum game. That's just what it is.
Well,
if you don't understand the stakes, get out of the kitchen.
Listen,
you may find it cold, hard, and cynical, but that's the game.
How can I be a sedevacantist?
Winner takes all. Communicate.
Winner takes all.
How can I be a sedevacantist if I accept the current chair of Peter? I accept every ecumenical council, unlike you, and I don't claim any pope is a heretic at the moment.
Well, you're just making wild accusations at this, princess. I never said
you're
those
accusing
things.
me.
You're jumping to conclusions.
You don't agree. Oh, hold on.
You're jumping to conclusions, princess. You've already said on multiple occasions, princess, that you do not believe that it is possible for a valid pope to also be a formal heretic.
Exactly. That is a Catholic belief.
That is not the Catholic belief, princess. In fact, you have a historical case where this has actually already happened.
That was a material heretic, not a formal heretic.
Honorius was never... there's no council that
blah 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 blah. Okay. You're just shifting the goalpost, fight.
No, that's what a formal heretic is.
So let me see here.
I'm pretty sure I have actually the material to prove my point, because since you can't prove anything you're saying, I will. And then anyways, at the end of the day, canon law.
Princess, here's a good video that you should watch. Okay. Or we're just gonna take 5 minutes.
I'm not watching
any of what
you're sending me, dude. You're calling me a sedevacantist, but you claim
you hold the sedevacantist doctrine,
bro. It is Catholic doctrine. A valid pope cannot be a formal heretic.
I mean, listen. Ed Fesser, right, already went on.
Matt Fradd is pints with.
He already went on Matt Fradd, right, and he clarified, right? Can the pope be a heretic? Answer, yes.
This guy just pronounced Ed Feser's name.
Ed Feser. I don't care what Ed Feser says. First of all, second of all,
right. You're just gonna ignore actual studied, actual scholars, right? Because you're gonna hold to your own private understanding, princess. Princess, it's very difficult to take you seriously on ecclesiological matters like this, because you didn't hold prior to this conversation that a priest is different ontologically, that there's a change in being in priesthood.
You still haven't proven that.
What do you mean I haven't proven it? I'm not the one that has to prove it. That is literally the church teaching.
No, you didn't make an... What she was saying is that his human nature doesn't change.
So, princess, okay, we're just gonna watch this video together now.
I can't. Okay, first of all, I don't care about any of these scholars. Okay, I don't care about them. I care about what the church.
We're gonna watch the video together. Okay.
Says. So either you bring me a church father and a council, or you bring me nothing. I don't want any.
I don't care about what these academics say. I care about what the guys 2,000 years ago said.
Shut up, weirdo.
Yeah, now you're just sounding like a Protestant, princess.
Why would I take the opinion of a guy that's not in authority to me. He's not a
Ed,
priest. He's
Ed
not
Fazer is a Catholic scholar, but okay.
Yeah, that
bro,
really doesn't
so
matter.
many
So
people
is
know that
fucking
he's made so much mistakes in his writings. Like Wagner is my friend, and Wagner thinks that Fazer has made a lot of mistakes in his writing, and Wagner is not
Wagner's
even a scholar.
a YouTuber, not a scholar. Who cares about him thinking another guy made a mistake?
Bro,
That guy's a
just
YouTuber.
because a university gave you a PhD does not mean that what you say is right. Just saying.
Well, it makes it. I mean, where we all we would need is like a statistical chart of this. It's more likely that you're telling the
we
truth
actually don't.
if you have a
retard.
PhD. So, yeah.
No,
Okay, and it's
actually
also
we
like
don't.
it's also not true that in a
So
university
I'm going to go to the
we can make
gym
mistakes.
while I process
If
this
we just like
recording.
had a
We can
distribution
revisit the
chart, like
conversation later.
the likelihood of you lying